I know. So I am here today with Jocelyn Bear, who's a member of Muscoda First Nation, and she's going to share her history with us.
Actually, it's Kip and Huck.
Kip and Huck. Yes, right. Your married name is Kip and Huck.
Yeah, my maiden name is Bear.
My mistake.
That's okay.
So Jocelyn, can you tell me a little bit about your family, who your mom and dad were, and your grandparents?
My grandparents on my dad's side, my grandmother was Princess Maud Bear, and my grandfather was Leonard Bear. I didn't know him. He died when I was like around 2 years old or something. But I knew my granny for quite some time, probably till I was about 5 or 6, and then she went into a home because she got dementia.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody could look after her anymore, so she had to go in the home.
Okay. So I've heard that name Princess Maud quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you relate to quite a bit of people out here.
Yeah.
Who are her siblings?
I don't know who her siblings were.
No?
No.
How about your grandpas?
I don't know my grandpas either.
No?
No.
Yeah, because I think basically I found out everybody in Muscoda is basically related.
Yes.
Very distantly.
Yeah.
Closely, and some people don't even know that. So we're finding that out through these videos.
Yeah, I know my dad's siblings, but I don't know my grandparents' siblings.
Okay, who's your dad's siblings?
There was Uncle Austin, Uncle Harvey, Uncle Lloyd, Uncle Donald, and Uncle Victor, all Bears. And then the girls were Daisy, Viola, who's still alive and in a home, Ruby, and Cicely.
Nice.
Cicely Brass. Yeah.
Hmm. So can you tell me who are your siblings?
My siblings, I had a half sister who my mom had before she married my dad. Her name was Yvonne, and she was a Burns, and then she got married and she became a Sanderson, and he died, and she married another man from Mosquito Reserve, and she was Oxaban when she died, Yvonne Oxaban. And then my brother Adrian, he got married twice. He got married, but he got divorced both times. And he died in 2016, I think. He had type 1 diabetes since he was a little boy. Had to take needles right away.
Yeah.
And he died from that. And then Cynthia, my youngest sister.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about Adrian?
Mm-hmm.
He's your brother, right? Your only brother?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about him. Like, what was his life like? Because I know this video is sort of like a legacy piece.
Mm-hmm.
And Adrian, I know, like, I've met him myself,
Mm-hmm.
knew him and stuff like that, and he was a really good person.
Mm-hmm.
But just tell me a little bit, because some people might not remember Adrian.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what did he do? Like, how long did he live out here and stuff like that?
He lived out here all of his life.
Yeah.
All of his life he lived out here. He lived mostly with my dad in Cross River over there where we grew up in that area. And he would have different odd jobs. Like he would go to Tabor, Alberta every year. Like a bunch of the community members from here would go there and they'd pick corn and potatoes and all different kind of agriculture stuff over there. And there was one farmer that hired them every year, so they would go there every year.
I think it was a Belgerson. Was it Gary Belgerson or something like that?
I never even heard the name. I just know they said that.
Every year they go to Tabor. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Remember crews going out. I remember meeting Adrian. He was very funny. He always liked to tease, eh?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
And everybody, yeah. Kind of thinking about him every so often. Sometimes.
He didn't finish high school. I know that, but he always worked during the summer months.
Yeah.
He worked. I don't remember him ever working in the winter time. Like he'd always collect EI or whatever.
Yeah, like a seasonal worker.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then his diabetes sometimes would bring him down, so he couldn't work very often. Sometimes.
Yeah. Nice. So that's where you guys fit in. Because I didn't know myself.
Mm-hmm.
So who are your children?
I have three. I have four. Wait, three of my biological children. I had Darcy, who's a police officer in PA, and Evan, who was killed in 2015, and Maddie, who you know Maddie.
Yeah.
And then Clyde, when we met, he had 2 boys, well, 3 boys. So we had 5 boys altogether and 1 girl.
Oh, nice. And how long were you with Clyde?
30 years.
Wow.
And
It's a lot of history there, eh?
yes, there is. He passed away in 2020.
And what sort of things did Clyde do? I think he had horses?
Yeah. He raced horses for 7 or 8 years. Yeah, 7 or 8 years he raced horses.
Nice.
Yeah.
And he came from where?
Labrador, Newfoundland, Labrador.
Yeah, he sort of had that little different accent, eh? A little bit, not too much.
Well, when he first came in 1981, he came to Lloydminster to work in oil fields.
Yeah.
He had a real thick accent, and he said people used to always make fun of him, so he tried really hard to get rid of it. And he did pretty good.
Yeah.
But when he would talk on the phone to his relatives over there,
Yeah.
it would come back instantly.
Oh,
Instantly, yeah.
I remember him. He's quite the character. Very funny.
he
Liked to
was.
tease. He was
He
very
did.
direct.
He was very,
Yeah, it seemed like a great guy to me. Let's see here. So, what do you remember as a child on Muscadet?
well, I remember that none of this here was here. There
Mhm.
was no village, there was no band office here, nothing.
Mhm.
All that was here was Christina Bear's house, and that little house that Melvin Smith lives in, and that house on the corner over there used to be Drever.
Arthur.
Arthur Drever. Those were only 3 houses that were here. And then there was a band farm over there where they had lots of cows and stuff over there.
Yeah.
And over here where the O&M offices,
Yeah.
they had a rodeo grounds there. And we used to have rodeos there.
Oh,
Yeah, every year.
nice.
And on the other side there was the band office was where Audrey Drever's house is. You know where Audrey Drever lives?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right
Back there.
That's where the band office was.
Huh.
And the first school I ever went to was there. Yeah.
In that same spot, or
Well, the band office was here, and then the school was over here, a little ways over.
and that's that building that's still standing there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes it makes it sound like there was 2 schools down there, but I wasn't quite sure.
No, there
Just
was
the one?
Just the one, yeah.
Okay.
And they after we stopped going to school there, they turned it into a rec center for the youth.
Did they?
Yeah, we used to go down there and have like when I was 12, 13 years old, they had like dances and nobody would dance, but they would play music and stuff. They were all too shy to dance, so.
Yeah.
But they play music and talk to each other and visit and whatnot. And there was no we were young and we couldn't get alcohol and drugs here.
Yeah.
Back then there was a lot of solvent abuse, like sniffing gas and stuff like that. But there was no alcohol or drugs that I recall. Like the older people used alcohol and drugs, but not the younger people.
Nice. So back then, how did families help each other and treat each other?
How did they help each other?
Yeah.
Well, they gave each other, not very many people had vehicles back when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So they'd give each other rides, to, when it was payday, they'd, all go buy groceries and stuff like that I remember. But there was not too much, people didn't run out of things the way they do now.
Yeah.
Like they always seem to have enough till the next payday.
Yeah.
And I remember that we always had berries or canned stuff in the cellar. So we rarely ran out of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So it was mostly like giving people rides and stuff like that.
So were you like basically all the kids back then? You were at your grandparents' house a lot?
Um, well, our grandparents didn't live very close to us. They
Yeah.
lived down the hill by where Bethy
Yeah.
lives. That's where my grandparents' house was.
Oh.
And we'd go visit her on Sundays and stuff like that. And so once in a while, she'd get us to spend a night with her or whatever.
Yeah.
We liked spending night with her. And but like once a week, maybe we'd go visit her.
Yeah.
But we were always at the neighbors because there was three of us families that lived right in a row. There was Uncle Donald, and then us, and then Auntie Ruby. So we were all back and forth in between each other's houses all the time
Right.
when we were growing up there.
So Donald, that was the Shirley and Donald?
Yeah.
And then Ruby Charles and
Dick.
Charles?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because then they had like, because I'm trying to tie everybody together.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's some people who don't have families to represent them in these videos yet.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully they will come and do that.
Yeah.
So amongst those three houses, you guys the parents probably helped each other out quite a bit, eh?
Well, not like I never saw it, but
Yeah.
it probably happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I know we always used to give Auntie Ruby a ride somewhere, or
Yeah.
Uncle Donald would give us a ride if we needed a ride.
Yeah.
Because my parents worked in PAs, so
Yeah.
they had, if one was using the car, then my dad would need a ride somewhere, so Uncle Donald would give him a ride or whatever.
And what did your dad do?
He was a carpenter. He worked here for quite some time, and then he worked in town at the, I don't know if you know where the training school was.
Mm-mm.
Do you know where Pine Grove is?
Yeah.
It's just before you get to Pine Grove, there's a big building there.
Yeah.
That was the training school. He worked there, and he helped build inside. And my mom worked there too, but she was kind of like a care person that looked after the people over there. And they were developmentally delayed.
Right.
And they were adults. Lots of them were older people.
Yeah.
And they'd been in those kinds of homes for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So she looked after them kind of people.
Nice. There's actually quite a few people that worked at that home, I think, from here, is what I've been finding out.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were growing up, were there sporting events out here?
Well, like I said, the rodeo and lots of the younger teenage guys played baseball, not baseball, softball, underhand pitch, and hockey, and curling. We had a curling rink up by where we lived. There was always something going on there in the wintertime, tournaments or just pickup games or whatever.
Yeah.
And leagues and everything.
Yeah.
So every Saturday night we'd go to the curling rink.
Nice. Did you curl?
No, I tried once. I couldn't even get the rock across the ice.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
That's definitely a good idea. A curling rink. It'd probably bring back a lot of nostalgia for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it mentioned many times, actually, the curling rink.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we spent many an hour at that curling rink, and lots of people from this community would be there, curling and even just visiting or whatnot.
So was there anything for girls?
Not that I know of, no.
No?
Mm-mm. Not that I recall, anyway.
Okay. So switching gears here. Do you know if there was any medicine people in our community back then?
The only person that comes to mind when I think about that is Granny Maud. I don't know if you know her. That was Judy Constant Pascman's granny, Caroline Bear's mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of that, and I can't even say that she was full on into the medicine because I only seen her make a couple of teas and whatnot, but not. She probably did have lots of medicine that she used and whatnot, but I only saw her use a couple of teas and whatnot.
Sort of like a medicinal healer.
Mm-hmm.
Like she knew how to work them, eh?
Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure she knew how to pick them too, because you could always smell it, when you went into her house. Different kinds of smells.
Yeah. Nice.
That's the only person I can think of that ever I ever even thought could be involved in that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, nowadays it would be like back then it would kind of be taboo, but nowadays it'd be more positive because you know it'd be more holistic and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So where did people shop for goods and services?
Prince Albert. Okay, economy.
Was there a lot of gardens and whatnot, like hunting, fishing?
We fished a lot. We always came down to the river and fished, but I didn't really like the fish that they caught in this river.
The sucker fish?
Well, it was goldeye.
Oh, okay.
Goldeye.
Yeah.
And they're really greasy fish.
Huh.
So I didn't really like them, but my dad loved them, and my mom too. So that's the kind of fish. But now, when you go fishing down there, you can actually catch pickerel now.
Really?
You go down there, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. But yeah, they shopped in PA, and mostly at the OK Economy that I know of.
Right.
That's the only grocery. Well, there was a Safeway, but it was a bit more expensive than the OK Economy was.
Yes. I remember the OK Economy, yeah.
Mm-hmm. In clothing stores, always the Sand store.
Or Kresge's?
Kresge's or the Sand store.
Yeah. I remember those too. So you went to school in Muscadet, right?
I started school in Muscadet. I did kindergarten. I started kindergarten here, and then we moved to PA. And I finished kindergarten there and started grade 1 in PA. Then we moved back, and by the time we moved back, all the kids were going to East Central then. So that's where we went to East Central.
So how was it going to school over there?
Over where?
Over at the small school.
I barely remember.
You were just tiny?
Yeah.
So how was it in East Central?
It was pretty good. Like, a lot of the teenage, the kind of older than me kids didn't really like it. They didn't like the teachers. They didn't like the principal. They were always getting in trouble, getting the strap, and because they did give us the strap back then. But I liked the teachers, and I didn't have anything wrong happen to me there.
So there's no racism or anything like that?
Well, when I look back on it now, back then I didn't think, it was just something that happened. But when I look back on it now, I can see that vice principal did not like us coming there.
Yeah.
That's why he picked on those boys all the time. Yeah. And they kind of tried to segregate us outside in the playground.
Yeah.
Like we were supposed to play. It wasn't like a rule, but we knew we were supposed to be over this side on the playground, and the non-Indigenous kids could play on this side.
Yeah.
And it wasn't any different. Like there was playground equipment, but it's like they didn't want us to associate with each other.
Yeah.
Even though when we did, they were nice kids, you know. We got along with them okay. I did anyway. I didn't see anybody else fight with them or anything.
Yeah.
But I think it was just an unspoken rule.
Yeah.
And it was the adults. It wasn't the kids that were pushing us away or anything. It was the adults trying to keep us on this side and the other kids on this side.
Right. Interesting. In high school, where did you go there?
I went to junior high in Riverside, and then I went to high school at Carleton. But I dropped out when I was in grade 10.
Oh, okay.
I ran away from home.
Oh, did you? Where'd you go?
James Smith.
What was over in James Smith?
My friends.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. They said if I was ever having a hard time. Because when my mom and dad split up, my dad started drinking really, really lots.
Yeah.
And lots of bad things happened to me.
Yeah.
When I was growing up. And then when I moved out of his house and moved in with my mom, these bad things continued to happen because she was also drinking.
Yeah.
So I ran away from home.
Yeah.
And I went to my friend's house. She said, if you ever need a place to stay, you can come here. So I did, and then I got into an abusive relationship with a man over there. Well, he wasn't a man. We were only 16. And for 9 years, I stayed with him and had my 2 boys with him. He was physically abusive to me.
Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
But you've overcome that now, right?
Yeah, it took a lot to overcome, though. It did. I had to go to therapy and stuff like that to get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably in the end, it's probably made you a stronger woman though, too, right?
Well, I don't know if I'm stronger or if I'm more resilient, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a better word.
Yeah. Because I don't feel strong and I don't feel brave. Everybody says I am, but that's not how I feel. I feel like I'm resilient and able to manage things better now than back then.
Yeah.
And after coming through all of that hard stuff.
You're still standing.
Yeah, I am.
That's right. That's right. And then you met Clyde.
Yeah, I met Clyde when I was 20. I was going to turn 26, I think, when I met him.
So that's Maddie's dad.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Pardon?
Anybody else? Did you guys have kids together? Just Maddie, right?
Just Maddie.
Yeah.
I had Darcy and Evan with Clifford.
Yeah.
And then he had 2 boys with his first wife.
Yeah.
And then he had one after he broke up with her, with another woman.
Oh, okay.
And then I met him.
Right. Interesting history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So your grandkids and your great grandkids are probably going to see this, but at any rate, it's like, it's still your story, it's still your history, the history of your family, the history of you, your brother Adrian, because he was definitely I don't even know how to put it, like everybody knew Adrian, right? And we don't want him forgotten. We don't want any of these people forgotten. That's the main purpose, like I said, to be remembered and to remember them, right? So after that, we talked about your school. Okay, so how far back do you remember who chief and council were?
Let's see.
Because everybody seems to remember the chiefs, not so much the councilors.
No, I don't even. I think my dad was a counselor for a while, for one term maybe. I'm pretty sure he was. I'm pretty sure Uncle Donald was. Uncle Victor was. And that's it from my family, that was. And the chiefs I remember was Andrew Bear.
Yeah.
I think that's as far back as I can remember.
Great.
Andrew and then Joe, and I don't even know who was after Joe.
I know, I've heard it all week. I know Mervyn was in there. Muffin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. David Knight.
Oh yeah, David Knight was a chief too.
Yeah.
Like I don't even remember old John Smith. I don't remember him.
No? You come from that line?
I don't even know.
I know I come from that line.
Do you?
Yeah, my granny, yeah. Well, my uncles George, Harold, all them. That's that line, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So if you had you have the chance now. So can you explain the history of Muscadet in your own words? Like how was like not necessarily the history of the leadership, like how did we take care of each other, the food, the cooking, how did families take care of each other, family ties, values, stuff like that.
Well, I think because we were so close to non-Indigenous community, we lost a lot of our cultural values quicker than other First Nations communities that are more isolated from white communities.
Yep.
And not that we weren't close, it's just that we weren't as I don't even know how to explain it. We weren't as tied to each other as other First Nations communities are, because there's only them, right?
Yeah.
And there's not as much contact with the outside world as we had.
Yeah.
Because it was only like 15 minutes to PA.
Yeah.
And lots of people went there and worked there and socialized there and everything. So they brought all those values back from being there all day, every day, 8 hours a day or whatever. Brought that back to their home.
Yes.
And then when we would visit them, they would, teach us these kinds of things. So
yeah.
So I think we lost a lot of our cultural ways because we were so close to non-First Nations community.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know if we would have done better or worse if we were not this close, because lots of people had good jobs, nice houses, nice cars, and all the outside things they had.
Yep.
But now today we're seeing, because of the loss of our cultural values and traditional ways, we're seeing the drugs, the alcohol, the disconnection of family.
Yep.
So you can't even go to your auntie's house anymore and say, "Hey auntie, do you have some bannock?"
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Like we used to back then.
Yeah.
So I think growing up here, it was nice when I was a little girl. And we were all one big community family and whatever. And then slowly, as more, especially when that highway came in, I even remember going to the opening of that highway, and John Diefenbaker came flying down in a helicopter and landed right on the highway.
Really?
To cut the ribbon for the highway. And my mom went and shook his hand, and I said, "How did his hand?" "It was squishy." I don't know what that meant, but she said it was squishy. Yeah, and I think the connection with the highway was probably had a lot to do with, our values not being as traditional as they could be.
Right. Yeah, even today, even by today's standards, Muscadet seems like you don't really have that real strong traditional. There's a few people,
yeah,
but not community-wide, like let's say One Arrow or James Smith or Sturgeon, right? Because they're more away from the main centers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's the difference with Muscadet.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah, because when people from James Smith come into the store and they see me, and I'm related to them. "Oh, hello, cousin," they'll say, and say, just for an example, I hope Elwin doesn't see this.
Yeah.
If Elwin comes into the store, he doesn't say, "Hello, cousin." He doesn't say that.
Yeah.
He says, "Hello, Joss." That's all he says. But my cousins from James Smith come in, they say, "Hello, cousin."
Yeah.
So
there's probably different values between there and here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know over there, you go over there and you're like, over James Smith, you're 100% welcome.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a special calm over there that you don't have here.
Mm-hmm.
And like when I go to Sturgeon, there's that same special calm that, I don't know, for outsiders going there, it's like hospitality 100%, and there's just a calmness that you don't feel here over there. You know what I mean? It's like, it's weird. But you probably know what I mean, eh?
Yeah, I do know what you mean, yeah.
I kind of wish it was like that here too, but people say we got a good community.
Well, it's getting better.
Yeah.
It is getting better, though.
Yeah.
People are starting to, talk more to each other than they used to. Like when I was a teenager, like I left when I was 13. I came back a couple of times, and people they wouldn't talk to you. Like you go to the store and see someone there, they wouldn't even say hi to you, even though you grew up with them or knew them or whatever.
Yeah.
But now they're starting to, talk to each other and talk to you and me and everybody else.
Yeah. Wow. Definitely interesting, eh? Something to look into and try to build here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let me see. Okay. So last question.
Mm-hmm.
What important message do you want to share with our future generations about education?
I think education is very important, but like I went back to high school upgrading and I got my grade 12, and then I went to university and got a Bachelor of Social Work, and then I went to work and worked for 25 years. But in all that 25 years of working as a social worker, I didn't accomplish anything that I wanted to accomplish. The reason I wanted to be a social worker is I wanted to help my people.
Yeah.
And I never ever did that. I got caught up in the grind of the work day and finishing this and finishing that, and not wanting to leave because it's a paycheck.
Yeah.
It's a paycheck, and it's makes you feel safe and
Yeah.
whatever. So that's one thing I'd like younger people to realize, that do what you want to do. Don't do what you have to do.
Yeah.
Go to school, finish your grade 12. If you don't know what you want to do, go out to the workforce and work for a little while.
Yeah.
And then maybe you'll get a sense of what you really want to do, because if you go to a job where you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're never going to do very well at it, and you're not going to be happy for sure. And we need to be happy in our jobs.
Yeah, that's very true.
Like education is really important, but make sure you're going on the path that you want to go on. Don't let anybody push you into doing something that you don't want to do, just because at the end of the line there's going to be a big paycheck.
Good information. Well, thank you so much for your interview time, Jocelyn. I really appreciate you sharing your history with us.